हेलो गाइस, स्वागत है आपका कंटेंट मॉन्स्टर्स के एक और एपिसोड में। और आज के इस एपिसोड में हम रिव्यू कर रहे हैं सीरीज तनाव का, जो कि हाल ही में रिलीज हुई सोनी लिव पर।
एक जुबान थोड़ी बोलता है कोई यहाँ पे, इसीलिए कश्मीर का मसला आज तक नहीं सुलझ सका।
तनाव जो है एक ऑफिशियल अडेप्टेशन है फौदा का, और ये सेट है कश्मीर में। जो कश्मीर की कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है विच इन्वॉल्व्स द आर्मी, द टेररिस्ट, इट इन्वॉल्व्स द लोकल रेजिडेंट्स, सेपरेटिस्ट आउटफिट्स, इन सभी का जो रोल है, इन सभी के जो एक्शंस हैं इस कॉन्फ्लिक्ट के अंदर, उसको ये सीरीज दर्शाती है। एक तरह से सुधीर मिश्रा ने फौदा को अडेप्ट किया है एक इंडियन एनवायरनमेंट में, कश्मीर को सेटिंग लेकर। क्या खास बात है तनाव की? अब सबसे पहले तो मैं कहना चाहूँगा, इस तरह की सीरीज बहुत आसानी से प्लॉट लूज कर सकती है, एंड अ फिल्म मेकर्स पर्सनल बायसेस कैन स्टार्ट टू creep in a series like this, because it depends on which side of the political divide you are, and you start presenting that side of the story. So one of the biggest pluses of this series is that it is not taking any sides, it is not bringing any personal bias into the picture. Actually what this series is doing is being a very sharp observer of all that is happening around in Kashmir. Like I said earlier, there are far too many elements in Kashmir. There are the separatist outfits who have their own agenda. There is the brainwashed youth who doesn't know what to do and is completely influenced by some of the terrorist organizations. There are some of the terrorist organizations themselves who have been propagated or put up by some of these separatists organization or by the neighboring country, and who have now gone rogue, who have now gone completely out of control. There are the local politicians from Kashmir who have their own agenda. There is the political establishment sitting in the center, and of course in all of it there is the army who has to go through this day in and day out. And last but definitely not the least, there are the local residents of Jammu and Kashmir. So there are too many stakeholders involved, and the situation is never as simple as it seems. But my personal point of view is that violence is never the answer, and I think that is what my takeout from this series would be, that violence can never be the answer, and the army sitting there, if anything, is only doing whatever it takes to ensure that there is peace and stability, and that's a good part of this series. You can take whatever you want to take out of this series. The makers have clearly taken an observer's point of view by just showing every side of the coin. It is up to you as an audience, which side do you want to take and what needs to be your takeout. So to that extent, neither is it influencing the audience. In fact, it is considering the audience intelligent enough to take their own call to decide on whose side they would want to be and who's right and who's wrong. So that to me is one of the biggest strengths of this series. The second big strength of this series, according to me, is a very, very diverse and a rich cast. I think the key cast comprises Manav Vij, Ekta Kaul, Valusha D'Souza, Arbaz Khan, Sumit Kaul in the role of the antagonist Umar Riaz, and he's clearly a huge revelation in this series. Shashank Arora as Junaid, who's Umar's accomplice and who's completely brainwashed by Umar, and how he comes into his own towards the end. Again, brilliant performance.
शहीद को जन्नत अता होती है।
जब बॉम्ब फटेगा ना, फिर बॉडी के चिथड़े उड़ जाएंगे, छोटे छोटे हिस्से, लाल रंग के।
Rajat Kapoor as Jagjit Malik, again the Indian intelligence officer, brilliant job.
कौन है ये लोग? इसको देखा है? किसे जानती हैं आप?
Zarina Wahab, Danish Hussain, Satyadeep Mishra, Mir Sarwar, Sheen Das, and Rajesh Jais. A very eclectic star cast. To me, like I said, Sumit Kaul is absolutely brilliant. He's like evil incarnate. I mean, really brilliant in the role of the key antagonist and the terrorist. Valusha D'Souza is a complete surprise as Umar's wife. She looks every bit the Kashmiri, and she's clearly worked very hard on her diction as well, and it shows. Manav Vij is brilliant. He's always been a good actor, and this is clearly the role of a lifetime for him, and he has done a brilliant job as someone from the Indian army who is a Kashmiri Muslim and who stands up against the terrorists as part of this army, but he has his own methods of doing it, and how that poses problems for him in the army establishment, and who's also someone who's fighting his own personal demons, who's going through his own problems in his personal life. Brilliant performance. So I think this star cast that they've assembled is very good. They've not fallen into the trap of getting huge stars. They've taken good actors who look the part. So that, I think, is another huge plus point. Third, I think, is that tension is maintained throughout the series. It's very easy in a 12-part series like this to lose the plot, to lose the grip in some of the episodes. Yes, 12 episodes does seem a bit too long, sometimes, but the tension remains there throughout the series. So I think these three critical factors make it a very interesting series that it is. And lastly, I think the role of the army that has been displayed here is very crucial. I think when you see this series, you'll realize what the army goes through in Kashmir during a series of incidents. For instance, even if a terrorist kith or kin is treated in an army hospital, that entire family ostracized by some of the local residents, because they just see even the Indian Army hospital as the enemy's point, even though the Indian Army actually helps some of those terrorist relatives to get better by the better medical facilities in the army hospital. The kind of resentment some of the locals have towards the army and the army hospital that comes out in the series is something that will make you feel even more for the army and the kind of conditions they work in, the kind of political scenarios that they have to deal or grapple with, how political interference sometimes doesn't allow them to function as efficiently as they would want to. All of this actually makes you feel that much more prouder of your army, actually makes you empathize with them, and actually makes you feel that the kind of difficult conditions and situations that they work in. So for me, these four things are clearly some of the strongest points of this series. What maybe could have been better, I think clearly the length. I think 12 episodes is maybe a couple of episodes too many. It could have been wrapped up in 10. That is something that the makers should have seen. 2 is the special task force that has been created, which is headed by Bas Khan in the series, and that has been created only to nab the terrorist Umar. That seems a bit flimsy. इतनी आसानी से एक टास्क फोर्स बन जाता है और उतनी आसानी से बोलते हैं कि उसे डिसबैंड कर दिया जाए. So that seems a bit frivolous. I think obviously the army and the politics of the nation is not that flimsy that at a whim they create a task force and at a whim they disband it. That definitely seems a bit childish to me. Also, some of the situations where a separatist leader is blown away so easily, I don't think it's doable that easily. So थोड़ा सा creative liberty को definitely stretch किया है for a series which is meant to be so real. So these two, I would definitely say, are points that maybe could have been dealt with better, but otherwise I think it's a fairly gripping series. Definitely it's a one-time watch. I would give this series a rating of 6.5 on 10. I would strongly urge you to watch this series if you haven't watched it, and if you have seen the series, do let us know what are your comments on this series in this comment section below. If you like our review, please do subscribe to our channel, and for many more such reviews, we'll keep coming back. Do stay tuned. Thank you. We'll see you soon.